Academy League. It's Leeds Rhinos taking on Castleford Tigers Under-18s. Let's see.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Headingley Stadium. My name's Dan Hawkhead, and over the next about 2 hours, we'll be bringing you live coverage of Leeds Rhinos Under-18s taking on Castleford Tigers Under-18s in the Academy Leagues. The Rhinos coming into this game off the back of a big win last time out against London Broncos, 64 points to 4, while the Tigers look to make it back-to-back wins for the first time this season. So, starting with the two teams, we'll run you through the visitors, Castleford first. Starting up fullback is Ethan Rooney. On the left edge, Daniel Sabbath's on the wing and Ryan Joseph's at centre. On the right wing, it's Will Charlesworth, and his centre is Jacob Hall. Jack Green and Jaden Tang are moving into the forwards. At prop, Harry Edgley and Woody Walker, the hooker, Jensen Windley. And into the front three, Alfie Dean and Sam Daly are the second rowers, and Alfie Hawkhead is the loose forward. Substitutions for Cass on the bench: Taylor Badley, Harry Mole, Isaac Hirsch, and Akeem Matvejev. Now for the Rhinos. At fullback, Shane Toohey was been pretty excellent and ever-present for the Rhinos throughout this campaign so far. On the edge for Leeds, Neil Chimambe and Jack Smith come back and combine after both playing a crucial part in the Under-18s, winning the grand final last year. Neil Chimambe currently the joint leading scorer for the 18s. On the other edge, Harry Taylor and Kaiden Frater. Frater coming back in for his first appearance since scoring 2 tries against. In the halves, Ferguson McCormack moves back into the halves, having started at fullback against the Broncos. He's joined by Taylor Stevenson, who is in his first season and building with every single game. Taylor, great to see him developing out of Alton Raiders. Into the forwards, Yorkshire's Bobby Hartley, who represented the White Rose against Lancashire last week. He's joined by Harrison Gilmore, and the hooker is Mason Corbett. Jack Johnson and Joe Phillips are in second row, and Declan Edmonton completes the 13 in at loose forward for Leeds. On the bench for the Rhinos, Dylan Proud, Zach McSwinney, Freddie Brennan-Jones comes back in 2, and Leo Aliyu drops to the bench after scoring 2, like a couple of these guys did against the Broncos. So Leeds, as we wait on the young Rhinos to come out, coached by Tony Smith, ready to make it back-to-back wins for the first time if they can get the result against the Tigers. As I say, Cass won their first game last time out, and will be wanting to get points on the board. The Tigers currently sitting 9th in the Academy Championship table with 1 win from 3 games, losing the other 2 to Wakefield and Warrington, while Leeds, they get 2 points today, while they move within touching distance of Warrington in 3rd place, who have 6 points. But the Rhinos, of course, played a game less after that game against Wakefield was postponed at the start of the year. Hull FC and St Helens, just for a note, are currently unbeaten at the top of the league with 8 points each from 4 games. So we're just prepared to get the teams out. Who knew whether we'd have sunshine or showers out here at Headingley? We've had a bit of everything. Bit of thunder, bit of lightning as well in the lead up to the game. But it's safe to say it's brightened up. There will be some moisture on the turf, but nice sunny skies. Great to have your company with us. Let us know where you're watching in from. As Leeds, just off camera at the minute, coming out ahead of the visitors, Castleford, led by Jack Johnson. So here come the Tigers now. If they can get a win today, Cass will do their season a big boost. But like Leeds, with that Academy Championship title to their name, will want to keep all of it if they can. So don't go anywhere over the next, say 2 hours, definitely the next 80 minutes. As Leeds in their traditional majority blue kit with the yellow band across the chest, while Cass, a very vibrant orange and black. Traditional with both clubs, and it'll be Leeds that are kicking off. Jack Smith just wanting a A ball, if possible. Comes back into the side, Jack, after scoring a try and kicking 4 goals. 8 goals, should I say, sorry, against Newcastle in the season opener. That was another big result, 84-0 that time up at Kingston Park. But I think we're about ready to get going, says referee Matthew Lynn. Gets ready with the watch. The whistle goes, underway. Let's go. Hope you enjoy this wherever you're watching as Leeds start strongly. Kicking that ball, make sure it goes over the sideline. Castleford just in 2 minds. It's Daniel Sabeth just unsure. Let it roll out of play and Leeds with a tap 10 metres out. We're ready to go. From the minute 1, there's Corbett. From dummy half to Gilmore. Wearing 8, Harrison. Leeds will just try and get the early score if they can. Declan Edmonton. 2 tries for him against the Broncos. Within 2 or 3 metres, we're talking inches. As McCormack puts on a little bit of footwork at the line, cuts back to the right. Onto Johnson. Flat ball for Edmonton, who's just going to try and barrel his way over if he can. He's just held up deck. So he's forced back to his own 10. Strong signs already from Leeds in these opening minutes. Tony Smith will really be happy with this one. As Stevenson, quick pass, hits the ground. Smith picks it up. Gets himself back to within 5, but there's 5 metres. Oh, they're on the 5th tackle. Gabs are kicking behind. There's chasers coming. Cass are going to let it run dead. Might not be the cleverest of ideas. For Leeds, running with, obviously that ball's going to pick up a bit of moisture. It's going to keep running along the turf. And Cass instead get the 7 tackle set. Starting on the 30, moving themselves up to the 40. That's Harry Edgley. Carrying the ball in. It's now Green. Drops it off for Dean. Who cuts back on the angle. Apologies for the quality of the stream at the minute. Hopefully, should hope it'll solidify up. There's Cass. Moving over to that north stand with Tang. Just feeds Hall at the line. Looking through the set nicely here, Castleford. Just trying to overcome that little bit of pressure that Leeds applied early on. The dab kick over the top, though, is taken by Tui. Has to dart back inside and take it to ground. Shane Tui, what a player, by the way. What a start to the year he's had. Played a bit all over the park. Bit of hooker, bit of fullback today. Also a bit of halfback too. Beware for his runs out dummy half. As is this man, Harry Taylor. He's fighting to get every metre he can, the young centre. In his first year with the Rhinos Academy, Harry. There's 2 tries to his name as Leeds get the penalty. Castleford not clearing the ruck area. And it's an easy penalty to give for referee Lynn. So Leeds starting 40 metres, now 30 metres with that run from Johnson inside their opponent's half. This is where they can be quite dangerous, the young Rhinos. Granted, they had a slow start against Huddersfield in their first home game of the season. That was down at Stanley. That second half, it was a memorable one. Looking to start strongly, though, here with Gilmore. Carrying in hard towards the 10. There's no Corbett out dummy half. Sends it on for McCormack. Puts on a bit of footwork just to try and evade the initial tacklers. And gets a few more metres too. But the referee, I think he's pulling him Leeds up. It is. It's a tough one for Rhinos to give away. especially in such a promising position as they were under those uprights. Nevertheless, defensively, it's not a bad place to try and hold Castleford if they can. There's Daniel Saba from that scrum. 0-0 after 5 minutes here at Headingley. The Tigers looking to try and make something happen if they can. As Hall, off the edge, just straightens up into the tackle of Joe Phillips and Stevenson. Now Walker dumped on his back. Leeds are going to try and work the prop nicely on the floor. With Hartley and Phillips, the players in there, as now Rooney decides for a little dart and go himself. Ends up just shy of the Leeds 40. Instead, they go for the bomb here, Castleford, down towards Kaiden Freighter, but pretty used to those high bombs, Kaiden. For those that followed the under-18s last year, was one of those players that grew throughout the season, all accumulated in getting the winning try in the Academy Grand Final against St Helens. One to watch back if you can. That's all live on the Leeds Rhinos YouTube channel. Highlights that one, behind the game too. And a memorable season for the under-18s. So Leeds with the cast being caught offside. Just seems to be those early stages. Castleford just haven't quite settled down and allowed Leeds to get the field position if they can, as Smith with a promising run off the Corbett pass. So Hooker waits at dummy half, gives it to Stevenson. Shifts it on. And Gilmore forced to do a bit more of the hard work to get Leeds within 10 again. They're knocking on the door, the young Rhinos. They haven't broken through early on. But is this the opportunity? And there's Johnson. Taken down meters shy. Corbett shapes to go left, comes back to the right. The pass isn't great. But finds Stevenson eventually, picks it up off the turf. He's eventually swung around by the scruff of the neck to the floor. Shoot, Tui with the chip kick. Well taken by Rooney, but Chimambe immediately upon him. Barrels him over the dead ball line, so that'll be a dropout to Cass, for Cass. Leeds turning the screw. It's 10 minutes, just about 10 minutes gone. It's all been in favour of the home side. Just been getting through the motions, but they've been helped by Castleford penalties and ill discipline. And now they look to build with pressure again. Stevenson on for Smith, who's running a really nice line there. Jack Smith, can he get all the way to the line? Tries to get the offload away. Wow! What about that? Edmonton follows up. An early try. But what about the offload from Jack Smith? Keeps it nice and high in the air. Manages to evade any Castleford defenders trying to bat it away. And Edmonton is on a bit of a scoring spree at the minute. That's his fourth try in 3 matches. And gives Leeds a 4-0 lead. Kick to come from Smith. So Smith, eyes on goal, a nice simple one you'd assume, and he does convert. taking the score to Leeds Rhinos Under-18s 6, Tigers Under-18s 0. Welcome if you've just joined us, by the way. It's great to have your company in the early stages of this game before you come down to Headingley for the major game. Rhinos men taking on Salford in the Betfred Super League, round 11. But it's the young Rhinos showcasing their talents beforehand. And they currently have a 6-0 lead after that score from Edmonton. Leeds with the wind in their sails. Games this year that once the young Rhinos tend to get one, they tend to get another. But another different halfback combination. It's a well-organised setup at the minute from the Rhinos, but so McCormack and Stevenson did play together for London, but of course McCormack playing fullback, Stevenson playing alongside Tui for that game as the fullback there just gets speared by Ryan Joseph. Does allow Mason Corbett to get a few more metres out of dummy half though. But fair to say, Tony Smith is keeping his options open as McCormack takes a slip. That might be the rain making an impact there. If you're with us for our pre-match coverage, we've heard from Fergie's brother Ned, who signed for the Rhinos. Promising player. Changing the 15-man code for the 13. So great to have him on board going forward. And hopefully not too long before we see him playing alongside his brother. There's Cass with Alfie Hawkhead. Over the 30. No relation, I promise. As Woody Walker now. Castleford now getting through the motions. Decided to settle down a bit here, Cass. After that early lead score. Deck Edmondson giving the Rhinos a 6-0 lead. Jack Smith with the conversion. Another go short side with Saba. Looking his way short side. Stopped by Frater and Harry Taylor. There's Edgley. Fence. Muscling up well in the Rhinos. That was something when the reserves were playing on this Headingley pitch 2 weeks ago. We credited the Rhinos forwards the defensive resolve, and it seems to have carried over for these younger guys too. As Hall out dummy half. Decided to run the ball on the last there. Maybe not keeping a count of the tackles. I thought he had an extra one or possibly spotted the opportunity. Instead, Hans leads the ball within their own 10. Chimambe with a man that brings it out. The man who, if you've not watched the Rhinos Academy before, is definitely one to watch. The man wearing number 2 on the the north stand side, excuse me, is McCormack. Pokes his nose through, gets it away to the speedster that's Shane Tui. And there's a nice ball over the top. And to Kaiden Frater, who's got a bit of speed about him himself. Easy enough. Rounds the cast defence. And we said, watch out. Leeds can get 2 if they've got 1. And it's Frater this time. Great build-up play from McCormack and Tui combining. And an excellent, well-executed pass over the top from the Leeds fullback. Releases Frater. We know about his pace. He showed it against Newcastle. And away he goes. And it's try time again. Gets Leeds that 10-0 lead. Kick to come from Smith. Been a big miss, Kaiden. Missed the last 2 games. But scores his 3rd try of the season. So Smith, this left-hand side, to swing it back across. It's not as tight or angle as if he was out on the edge. Just to loop it. And there go the flags. 12-0 to the Rhinos. I think Tony Smith will be happy with this start. So, 16 minutes in. A promising prospect for you Rhinos fans. There's a young Rhinos up 12-0. What a run that was from Gilmore, just bulldozing his way back towards the Castleford line. If you watch from Castleford as well, great to have you with us. There's plenty of way to go in this one. Don't go anywhere. As Smith cuts that one in for Leeds. Now with Taylor. He twists his way in the tackle. It was Jensen Windley. Lifted the legs. Referee will stop the clock. Very obviously above the horizontal there. He's just going to consult with the touch judge. Don't think it'll be a yellow card. It might be, though. He's signalling for Windley to come across. It is. The yellow card comes out, so that's Jensen Windley going to the sin bin for Cass. Things just going from bad to worse for the young Tigers. Not only they're 12 points down, they've now got to hold this Leeds attack with only 12 men on the field. So the fresh set of six. There's Gilmore again. Pokes his nose through. He's a strong ball runner. He's Harrison, impressed last year after being brought in by Chev Walker. Is now Corbett. Goes for the line. Twisted over though. Cass had the youngster covered. The products out of East Leeds. There's this man, Declan Edmondson, got one try today. Thought about maybe getting another as McCormack swinging the ball out to the right side. Tui for Smith with a searching run, and it's too easy. The space opened up there for Jack Smith. Maybe would have looked to go for the corner, gave himself a bit of an easier option for the kick. As he came back inside, off this Tui pass, and an easy score. Takes it to Leeds 16, Tigers 0. It's such a great job on commentary. That reserves game. It's always a pleasure to see him out there. The field and up doing a try scorer as well in that Academy Grand Final win over St Helens. So to open the scoring in that game, as a matter of fact. One of a few players that can play across both the Academy and the reserves. Also got a first team squad number. With Riley Lum and Jackson Field, who's been named in the 21 by Rowan Smith. Hopefully can give you the team news for that when it gets closer to kick-off. Smith wants to keep his successful run going and does. 3 from 3. Not a bad start from the centre. Not only has he got his try, he's got 3 goals too. So 18-0. It's fair to say it's been all Rhinos after 20 minutes here. Castleford have had opportunities, but it's been a little bit of their own fault. But Now being down to 12, it won't make it any easier as Tui tries to exploit the extra man by throwing away the offload, as does Taylor. It's now McCormack down the short side. He scored and set up a couple of great tries from fullback against the Broncos. Just can't keep the ball in hand this time. Ball goes to ground. Cass, though, with a chance to actually get some ball in the hand and actually have a bit of a go now. So straight from the scrum, earning a penalty. He's a little bit too keen. So now it's Leeds giving away the penalties. Cass, though, if they get points back here, could make this very interesting. I said plenty of time to go in this one. And also reeling the changes as Harry Moole on the field gets a welcome from Bobby Hartley and Declan Edmonton. Bobby coming off the bench for Yorkshire, so congratulations to him. Absolutely great for the young man as the Rhinos push Cass out of play. If he'd have tried to hit the ground there, he'd have still gone out. There's been, like we talked about earlier, a lot of rainfall. Now the bright sun shines out. You wouldn't have thought it, but Leeds with the ball on the 10, as you can see. Freighter with the first. Again, if you just joined us, apologies for the stream quality. Hoping it'll solidify up for you. There's Corbett. I've done my half. For McCormack, now Johnson tries to throw away the challenge of Green and does so. Tries to get them to the 40 here, the young Rhinos. Now Gilmore, again, he can get us an offload. Ball runner, well, I didn't tell he was he can offload too. He'll use it if he can. As Leeds making their first change. Freddie Brennan-Jones back on the field, missed the trip to London. He's given a chance off the bench, and he's come on in place of Bobby Hartley. Given a well-deserved break, Bobby, after that midweek clash against Lancashire last week. There's Cass now with Sabat. Trying to work his way out from his own 20. It's a tough way to come when you've done the amount of defending that Castleford have with a man down too. Doesn't make the job any easier. As that ball just goes straight through the hands of Woody Walker, at least pick it up. It's Brennan-Jones, quickest to react. And not what Cass needed. Really could have done with keeping that ball in the hands. And actually seeing the set out, trying to get Leeds to turn the ball over and actually build a bit of pressure themselves instead. So young Rhinos back with ball in hand. Brennan-Jones can look for a pass. Does to Gilmore. Looking for an offload. Twisting, turning his way to the floor. Stevenson. It's looked both ways, but when a halfback sees a sniff of the line, tends to want to go himself if he can find a try. As now McCormack, big pass, big hole. Jack Johnson. Getting his second of the season, Jack. It was too easy in the end. It's a combination play from the play of the ball. McCormack timed his pass to absolute perfection. And it's Jack Johnson who gets himself over the line and gets Leeds beyond the 20-point margin. They can close on 24 here. If Smith can continue positive kicking. So, quick time to say, Yetingers, whether you're watching on YouTube or on Twitter, absolute pleasure to have you on board. As Smith heads for goal, flags stayed down this time. I mean, the score remains 22 points to 0, but I don't think Tony Smith will have a lot to be disappointed about in this first half alone. Cass should hopefully be back up to 13 in a moment's time. We can see Jensen Windley, on that sideline as a kick heads out on the full. So Cass now playing Leeds' little trick and get themselves, which is in your opponent's 20-metre area, and in need of points. And conceded 4 within 25 minutes. It's been a pretty showing so far for the young Tigers, as Rooney puts on the dancing feet, tries to move his way towards the posts. Oh, that's nearly snuck out the tackle as well if it hadn't been for the work of Mason Corbett. Windley tries to go himself out of dummy half. Doesn't get anywhere close. There's now Tang. Again, forced to put the ball up his jumper and take it into the Leeds line. With a look for a bit of expansive play here, Cass potentially, as Rooney. Caught by Brennan Jones. Good work from the forward to come out and meet Cass, but they're in a better area now, 5 metres away. Windley again out of dummy half, spotting a gap or just going for broke. As this time, ball comes loose. Castleford just can't make Leeds pay. Score remains 22-0. Leeds playing the ball, closing in on 10 minutes to go in this first half. If you just joined us, the scores for Leeds coming from Caiden Frater, Jack Johnson, Declan Edmonton and Jack Smith. Smith converting 3 out of 4. A really positive start for this young Rhinos outfit. As Smith coming back on the inside. Cass can't deal with him, gets a pass away. McCormack's got the legs. Has he? But can he beat Alfie Hawkhead? Yes, he can. Gets the ball for Taylor. Harry Taylor for the line. Superb again from Leeds on the counter-attack. It's one of the most experienced players on the field in Smith, owning up the space. And McCormack's just so elusive. He makes you think Alfie Hawkins was in two minds of, do I close the man down? Do I look at the group of young Rhinos that are packing out on the left-hand side and defend against those? No, he decided not to. And instead, Harry Taylor, with all the space in the world, she uses that extra bit of pace, nothing too strenuous. Gets Leeds his 5th with a kick to come. It'll be a tough one as well for him, Smith. He couldn't convert from a similar position last time. So, steadies himself here, Jack Smith. At this south stand side where we're positioned in the commentary box, just can't get the right swing. Leaves a score 26-0. as you've probably just heard on the stadium. Big change from Tony Smith, bringing Leo Aliu on the field, and here he comes. The big man in 17 was absolutely unstoppable against London with those 2 tries. Worth going back and watching the highlights or even the full game on our YouTube channel. They're both on there. As Edmonton just coughs up the ball after Leeds were in a promising position. Taylor Badley taking that one. There's now Hirsch working his way nicely over the Leeds 20, closing in on that try line if you can find it. That's a really nice pass from out of dummy half. Badley was the man giving it on to Jack Green, who's just cut down. Looks to be in a bit of pain as well. The referee just calling time off. As he receives treatment from Castleford staff, it gives me a great opportunity to look at, bar the game coming after this, which of course is Leeds Rhinos first team taking on Salford Red Devils in the Betfred Super League. Definitely one, if you're not down at Headingley, get yourself down as soon as you can. Get yourself a ticket for the South Stand, North Stand, wherever's available. But next week, going to be a big week for the club. Both the reserves and first team going away to Wigan in a great doubleheader. The reserves playing at Robin Park Arena, which is just opposite, or just over the road, should I say, from the DW, before men's first team take on the Warriors. A week before the Challenge Cup meeting between the two here at the 20th of May. Again, tickets available for that now at tickets.therhinos.co.uk. Head over to the website or our social channels to get more information as well. As well as, of course, the Rob Burrow Marathon next Sunday, the 14th. It's one again, not to be missed. If you can get down to Headingley to show your support, absolutely. Or get out along the route as well. All the runners are going to need it. Great efforts and lots of money well raised. So, almost back underway. And it is going to be Green who exits field of play. Doesn't look in a great way at all. It's definitely an angle or low. Not the sort of change that Cass would have been wanting. And losing the manners. Mo looked to go for the line. And instead, it's popping off a little bit. It was Moole who went for the line. Looked to have lost the ball. The referee, Matthew Lynn, said it was a knock on. When something was said afterwards, a little bit of pushing and shoving, nothing too serious. And a little bit of frustration as well, I'd say, from the Tigers, who, whenever they've come close, have just come up short both times. And how do we claw something back from this? 26-0 in favour of the Rhinos. As you can see, there's Johnson on second tackle. Working his way over the 20 for Leeds. There's Corbett for Smith. One of the shouts for player of the half. Not saying player of the match just yet. But he showed his experience from being part of Chef Walker's Academy Grand Final winning side last year. As a Liu earning Leeds a penalty. Cass caught offside. The penalty's just creeping in again for the Tigers. It's the frustration of the coaching staff. They'll be feeling like they've gifted Leeds opportunities and get the tries they have done. They'll be back up. Have the numbers to match Leeds here. Is McCormack with the footwork at the line. Good work from the half-back. Looks to get the offload away. Ball taken away. Alfie Dean with the good work. McCormack just in a bit of pain. Castleford player down as well. I think the referee will stop the clock again here. Just to the right of your screen, you can see. I'm just receiving some treatment, but big opportunity thrown by Leeds there. It'd been interesting to not only see if they could have scored, but build that pressure on Castleford's line. Of course, can't not shout out Leeds Rhinos women as well. A little bit of time. They were meant to be in action against Alton on Sunday, but that game's been cancelled. So instead, Lois Forsell side will have to wait until the 21st of May. So that's 2 weeks' time when they'll take on Huddersfield in their final group game of the Challenge Cup, looking to get through and put their name in the hat for the quarterfinals. After obviously that dominant win against Bradford last time out. For the under-18s, it's a back-to-back home games. Not only can get the win today, as it's Darley leaving the field of play, but the 19th, so that week of the Challenge Cup game against Wigan on the Friday night, the Young Rhinos in action against Hull FC down at Stanley. So if you want to get your rugby fix, we've got Friday, Saturday and Sunday all covered in Rhinos action. Get them in your calendar if you've not already subscribed. So back underway. With Cass trying to can they get a score before half time? As Dean throws away the tackle of Brennan Jones, takes himself then straight into the arms of Decca Edmonton and Leo Aliu. And Leeds now caught offside to the final stage of this first half. Momentum just swinging between Castleford and Leeds. We saw it against Hull Reserves. Granted, a very different team when you look at the Young Rhinos lineup, but there's always a chance that they can sneak one before the break. As Hawkhead met strongly and pushed back a few metres, really back to where he started the loose forward. There's now Akeem Matvajev, wearing 17 for Cass. Gets himself to the Leeds 30. Drop-off ball inside for Hirsch. Moves himself to within the 20. Leeds really could afford to not give up points. I think Tony Smith would want to keep Castleford at nil, his former club, of course, as Joseph stuck an arm out there to flick it on it. Surprised the referees given play on. Must have judged that it went backwards. There's now Baddeley from dummy half. On for Windley, who looks to have come into that half-back position, just swallowed up by Aliu following the injury to Jack Green. There's now Tang, dabs a kick. Stevenson reads it well. Work from Leeds. Answered most of the questions asked of them in defence by this young Tigers side, when attack pretty organised. This first 40 minutes, I'd say under 5 minutes according to our unofficial clock. As Stevenson, arms in the air, wants that quick play of the ball. On for Chimambe. Carts the ball. Two in and over the 40. Two, making a few more. There's now McCormack deep his half. The ball doesn't quite bounce right. It's going to go straight out, and that'll be 7 tackle set to Cass. Not that it'll matter, because I think half-time is very much approaching. There's Saba. For those new to rugby league or potentially watching for the first time, of course, as that ball went from McCormack, bounced out of play over the dead ball line, that's a 7 tackle set, not 6 that you'd usually get on just a general turnover in rugby league. It goes over that dead ball line, you get an extra tackle. And that means that you can make a few more metres down the field if needs be. As Dean for Cass. On the third, gives it to Hirsch. Moves himself towards the 40. Judge wasn't quite sure about that one there. Didn't quite look like a knock-on, personally, but Matthew Lynn, the referee today, must have seen something. Instead, hands the ball over to the Rhinos. So Leeds with Freighter. Get himself over halfway. McCormack. Heavily influential in this first half. There's been another that's performed pretty well in the first 40 here at Headingley. Ball from Stevenson goes to ground. Well picked up by Smith. Flip for Chimambe. Here comes the pace from the winger. Cuts back inside. Rooney. Well beaten. Chimambe scores. Leeds get 30 before half time. And really, it's just been an absolute tale of this first half. Castleford haven't had really a touch on the young Rhinos when they've attacked. And they've made them pay again. 30 points to 0. Chimambe, the latest try scorer. Kicks come from Smith. So, Smith. Kicks for goal. Over it goes. It's more like it from centre with the kicking boot today. Takes us to 32 points to 0. We still play on. There's plenty of time on the clock. I know we've had a couple of injuries, but nevertheless, so Cass. It's down deep for Liu, who bring it back in from deep. Well within his own in-goal area, but moves it towards the 20. That pass from Corbett, two out dummy half wasn't great. Corbett picks it up, makes a few metres as well, gets an offload. Goes up in the air for Shane. The ball inside eventually to Taylor. Takes it nicely. Can he stay in the field of play? Yes, he can. And that will do us for half-time here at Headingley Stadium. It's been all Leeds in this first half who've taken a 32-0 lead into the break. Tries coming from Neil Chimambe, Jack Smith, Harry Taylor, Caiden Freighter, Jack Johnson and Declan Edmonton. 4 conversions as well from Jack Smith. Nothing from the Tigers, who had Jensen Windley sent to the sin bin after 15 minutes. So all Leeds in this first half. Oh, at half-time, though,
Especially hereditary Superman's to go to the Magic again in Newcastle, always one of the highlights of the season. Taking on Castleford Tigers. If you are a season Flexi supporter, then you can get half price on matching tickets, which means they start from just £6.25 for a junior, £10 for concessions, and £12.50 for adults on a day ticket. Weekend tickets will cost you just £10 for a junior, £15 for concessions, and £20 for adults. All the many benefits of being a Rhinos member. You can look now at tickets.rhinos.co.uk. And if you're not yet a Rhinos member, you can grab anything that are 3 or 5K Flexi memberships. Choose your matches and save. Flexi memberships start from just 19. There's a range of additional benefits included, one of which is half price Magic Weekend tickets. Let's get that membership before the Magic Weekend. Your stick invitations to Ronnie's events. Visit tickets.rhinos.co.uk to get your membership now.
Welcome back at home tomorrow night against Salford. How much are you looking forward to running out?
Yeah, really looking forward to it. Obviously, we've had a bit of time off with the international break, so there's not been a game. So everyone's really up for a good game and wanting to go and get the win.
In terms of yourself, obviously integrated back into first team training now. Has this 2-week gap come at a good time for you?
Yeah, it's given me some time to get some good team training in. With obviously all the boys having to.
Welcome back at home tomorrow night against Salford. How much are you looking forward to running out?
Yeah, really looking forward to it. Obviously, we've had a bit of time off with the international break, so there's not been a game. So everyone's really up for a good game and wanting to go and get the win.
In terms of yourself, obviously integrated back into first team training now. Has this 2-week gap come at a good time for you?
Yeah, it's given me some time to get some good team training in. With obviously all the boys having to put some work in over the week off, so I've been able to get some good solid work in with the full team, which has been really good. Yeah.
Salford are a team who like to attack from inside their own half, especially as well. Does that affect how we shape up defensively?
We've just got to be switched on all the time, you know. When we get them in corners and stuff, we can't switch off, and we've got to stay alive for when they throw the ball around. So I think it just means mentally we have to be switched on all the time and prepared for whatever they throw at us.
Callum Watkins has had a rejuvenation at Salford. He'll be up against his old club tomorrow night. Is he someone we have to watch?
Yeah, definitely. He's playing in the back row as well the last couple of years, so, and he's going really well. So yeah, we've done a bit of preview on him, and yeah, we'll definitely be watching out for him.
We're back in front of the Leeds fans. How is it important to keep up our home form?
Yeah, it is. It's really important. Obviously, any win that we get now is valuable with how the season started. So being at home, it makes it all the better to go and get the win.
Hello, my name is John Bentley. I'm one of a handful of dual-code rugby internationals, having played for Leeds, Halifax, England and Great Britain at Rugby League, and Rugby Union, Newcastle, England and the British and Irish Lions at Rugby Union. I want to tell you about my friend Doddy. I first met Doddy in September of 1996 when I signed for Newcastle. Doddy was already at Newcastle Falcons and Rob Andrew signed me. I had 2 seasons playing at Newcastle, and of course we went on the British and Irish Lions tour to South Africa in 1997 together. Doddy was just fun. He was just fun, great to be around. I remember Jill Douglas saying he got like a ready Breck glow feeling to him. So when he walked into the room lit up. He was always mischief, always great sense of humour. But he could play as well. He was a great player, a line-out specialist, a Scot, of course, with great humour, really. Myself and Doddy are very similar, really. We're mischievous, really. Yeah, in 1997, I had a camcorder which I used on a number of occasions, and I lent it to Doddy then. But I actually roomed with him on one occasion as well, which was a bit of fun. But you don't mess your own roommate about, do you? So we had a lot of fun together. We were never competing, we were always complimenting each other. Doddy did an amazing job on his journey since discovering they got MND. He was informed that there was no cure, and he thought that wasn't good enough. So he single-handedly went about raising awareness and raising funds for obviously the looking at the investigation of the condition. He did an amazing job, and everybody wanted to support him. Everybody listened to him, and you know, his manner in which he delivered his messages was truly tremendous. I remember Kevin Sinfield going up with Rob Burrow to see Doddy, to speak to him upon Rob's diagnosis, and of course Rob's was a different condition in a sense. It had gone straight to his throat, his voice, whereas with Doddy it started in his extremity. And I think Doddy was a great help to Rob, and they managed to establish a great friendship. Of course I know them both, and they're both very, very different, you know, height-wise. But I always remember saying to Barry McDermott, we were discussing Rob's condition in Leeds, and both Rob and Doddy are beautiful people, flawless. Nobody would say a bad word, yet there's me and Barry, we're fine, and we're rogues a little bit at times, so there's no karma in life, is there? It's very unfair, but very sad as well. With the passing of Doddy in November of last year, it was a very sad occasion. We all went up to his memorial and chose to celebrate his life, actually, rather than mourn his death. I'd done quite a bit of crying in the build-up to that. And of course, his legacy that he's created will continue. The fundraising needs to continue to help people. It wasn't just about helping Doddy and trying to find a cure, but helping other people as well, who were perhaps less fortunate than Doddy and Rob and perhaps Stephen Darby, who were all professional sportsmen, but somebody living in a little terraced house, you know, it hasn't got the funding and what have you. The support has been great. So I think it's really important, and you know, I've not seen the shirt yet, but you know, you made me aware that they've got a shirt linked to the Magic Weekend, which is of course played up in Newcastle, which is where Doddy played his rugby. So I believe that the money raised from the sales of the shirt will go to MND. So I think it's a fantastic gesture on behalf of the club. Obviously the link with Rob there, but I'm really proud of, you know, in my career I've had 4 years playing for Leeds Rugby League, and I love the link with My Name's Doddy Foundation, and of course he's one of my best friends, was Doddy. I haven't actually seen the shirt yet, so I'm really excited about looking at it actually, and in fact I'm going to open the box now and have a look at it. Oh wow, nice. Yeah, nice. You would love that. I don't think that would have fit him though. Yeah, it's amazing. It's a real tribute. Of course, the tartan there, the Scottish, and yeah, he'd be really proud, and his family would be really proud as well. You know, he's a lovely family, the boys and Mary dolls, so yeah, they'll be suited with that. I'm sure they'll be all wanting one to wear it.
Great words from a legend of both codes, John Bentley there. Speaking of the Rhinos, his Magic Weekend inspired shirt in honour of the great Doddy Weir. The QR code just at the top left corner. If you're not coming to the stadium tonight, you can order it online now. It's available now. Feel free to scan that code. If you are coming to the game, they're all stocked up in the club shop. Absolutely superb shirt. Get your hands on one of them. Great work from the Elite Pro Sports guys. So back to the action, and it's all in favour of the Young Rhinos. 32-0. The lead here as Cass get us back underway. Chimambe taking that ball nicely. And Leeds, where they left off. What a first half that was. If you're just joining us, well, you've missed quite a bit. It's a 6-try first half from Tony Smith's side and a scoreless one from the Young Tigers. With all Leeds' back line, apart from Shane Tui scoring a try. Neil Chimambe, Jack Smith, Harry Taylor, Kyden Frater, all getting their names on the score sheet, along with Jack Johnson and Deck Edmonton too. And Smith, one of the catalysts of that first half. Takes a big carry again for the Rhinos. It's starting to pack up here where we are in the south stand. Fans coming in ahead of the men's game, seeing the Rhinos take on Salford Red Devils. If you're unable to get down to the stadium to watch it live, of course not on Sky Sports tonight. Our colleagues at BBC Radio Leeds, James Dayton, feel free to join him from 7 o'clock with full match coverage, and also BBC Radio 5 Live. Dave Woods is on hand, or if you fancy Radio Manchester too. Plenty of ways for you to stay in the loop with the game tonight. But our under-18s giving us a pretty good curtain raiser. Should say, of course, also you can stay across all the action on our social channels at Leeds Rhinos on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, of course. The way crossfield with Frater tries to shrug off the tackle of the Cass man. Leeds looking strong again in his opening stages. It's now for Brennan Jones. The ball nicely now for Leeds. Starting the second half quite on an electric pace, the Young Rhinos, as McCormack stabs a kick in behind again. We saw him put a variation of kicks in that first half that none of them really came off, to be honest. He's not been disheartened, he's pushing on. Cass pinned back in their own 10. to come away with Will Charlesworth. As Badley shifts it onto Matvjev. So forcing cast a kick from deep. Green back out there in 6. Or I think that was Jensen Windley in 9. I'm very surprised with the way that he was taken off the field if Jack Green returned. So just for fans that are interested in that men's game, the first team squad currently rolling across the bottom of your screen as you'll see the big inclusion. Jack Sinfield named in the halves alongside Blake Austin. There's Corbett on for Smith, gets an offload back for Corbett. Nice 1-2 between those two. Now for Taylor, pass on for Stevenson. Oh, it's pulled forward. It's been pulled up for being forward. It would have given Stevenson his first try in Rhinos colours. So Cass inside their own 30. It's kind of been the story of the half, caught in the story of the game so far, excuse me, that they've just been caught in their own half. Not really any chances down at the Leeds end, as they've been totally outclassed by the young Rhinos in that first period. Can they pull it back in the second? Will it make it for an entertaining finish? Let's hope for one of those. Some games in the past between these two sides, very close. Last year, Caden Freighter needed to score the winning try in order to get the win in that 22 points to 18 win to Leeds. But the year before that, coming out of the COVID pandemic, Cass won that one 18-16, a last-minute try, helping their academy win that one. So don't count them out by any chance just yet. There's now Smith. Through plenty of work to take himself over the 40. Manu will just keep going as well. Nice combinations here from Leeds. Finds the space for Edmonton. Oh dear, try to his name. Like I said in the first half, he's got tries in all 3 of his last games. 4 tries in that one as McCormack stabs one ahead. Looked promising, but Rooney's there to reel it in, keep a hold. Now Charlesworth. Out from the back. Ball batted down there. It looked like it came off the arm of Edgley, and that'll just be a really frustrating one. That's a real brain fart there for the team in orange and black. It's just a real head scratch that they won away. So early in the game as well. So Leeds closing in on being about 25 out from that try line here. A very nice Headingley Stadium as Aliyu gets to the tackle. What a play! What a try! He did the exact same thing against London 2 weeks ago. Proved unstoppable again. Over he goes. 36 points to 0. First half opened up. And Leeds play well. bulldozing run from Leo Aliu. Absolutely superb. Once he gets through that first tackle, not many people tend to stop him. 18 years of age as well. Plays his rugby alongside, working as a plumber. That's what it's all about. Smith converts. Makes the score 38 points to 0. It's a really incredible story. Picked up by the Rhinos. Didn't have a scholarship as some of these players did initially at the club. Was brought in after impressing, playing community rugby. And gets the opportunity to continue his development under Tony Smith and the academy team here at Leeds, alongside working, like I say, as a plumber. Fantastic story. As Cass gets back underway. Just a reminder, if you're just rejoining us, QR code just at the top left of your screen is to get your hands on one of the new Magic Weekend shirts inspired by the great Doddy Weir. Scan that one now, it takes you through to the Rhinos shop website. It's available for men, women, and juniors, should I say. There's Freighter with a dab kick behind, trying a bit of fancy things now. Leeds have got the points on the board, and they get them out as well. High fives and hugs all around, and so it deserves to be. They're an absolute wonderland of these young Rhinos. Just everything seems to be falling their way. The scoreboard, I think, is helping that to an extent. So 10 minutes played in new half. Leo Aliu scoring the opener. There's Brennan Jones, one of the other forwards off the bench. Fancies himself a bit of a duck and dive at the line so he can find something. As Cass up for a strip. Former Tigers Academy player, Freddie Brennan Jones. Also coming to the game tonight as well. Just back on the new Magic Weekend shirt. You can get yours. They're all stocked up in the club shop. So make sure you get in there and get your hands on yours now. There's Tui out of dummy half. There's the ball for Corbett. Now for Freddie Brennan Jones. Big gap for Edmonton. They just can't get through the challenge of Alfie Dean. Otherwise he'd have had his second try of the game. Now Brennan Jones again. Just short again. 3 tacklers in there for Cass. Corbett goes against gone out of dummy half. There's space here for Johnson. Jack Johnson again. Second for the back rower. His third of the season and ever present under Tony Smith. 42 points to 0. Kick to come from Smith. And it's still all in favour of the side in blue and amber. So Smith, successful with that one. Keeps the scoring going. He's doing pretty well with the boot today, Jack Smith. He's putting in the hard practice off the field. taking us up to 44 points to nil. I think the deal for Cass will be now, can they restrict Leeds in defence? I think the game's pretty much gone, you'd say, with 25 left or so. Can they hold this Leeds team to fewer points? The only problem is that we know that this is a Leeds side that has tries in them. They showed it against Newcastle. They showed it against London. Those big margins, 60-odd points and 80 points in that one. As McCormack wrestled to the ground. Now Frater. Again, dabs a kick over the top. I think there's a little bit of experimentation going on here for Leeds. Dylan Proud coming on the other wing. It looks like Taylor Stevenson's the man who's left the field, so a bit of reshaping for the Rhinos. Caden Frater wearing 5, gone into the fullback position. Gone into halfback, excuse me. He did play at scholarship. He shifted out to the wing in his early stages of the academy, and let's be honest, he's scoring tries. One of them coming against Castleford last year. You know he's a finisher. He's got the pace too. As Cass. Puts Dean over the 20. Now Windley shows the ball, gives it off to Walker, who's got a bit of space in front of him. Can he get around to it? Great tackle round the waist. And the thighs from the fullback. Dart though from Badley. Just trying to catch Leeds off guard on his inside. As now Rooney puts the ball in for Hall, and it just had his name on it, Jack Smith. Read the pass well. Just drilled to the ground. As now Walker again. Fancies himself a score if he could get over here. Would he? A bit scrappy at Tang. Was it nicely for Hall, who put his head down, tried to burrow for the line. Nothing doing. And instead, to turn the ball over. Smith goes down with a bit of cramp. I think we're just at that point in the game. Closing in on the hour mark. Nevertheless, young Rhinos ever eager to continue. So like I said, Hull FC next up for Tony Smith's side before away trips to Bradford and Warrington. Circle Bradford as well, but Warrington will be a huge one in the start of July. How both of those teams are going. Obviously met in the semi-finals last year of the academy competition. Final Leeds coming out on top in that one. And Warrington starting this season pretty well themselves. 3 wins from 4, which is where Leeds are looked to go. Albeit the Tigers produce a comeback as McCormack quick fires a pass for Frater, who does well to recover. Now Leeds are allowed to show what they're really made of with Chimambe down the edge. Back inside for Frater. Beautiful offload for Tui. Finds a gap, kicks over the top. What a try this will be if someone can get the name on it. In the end, it's Saber. The Castman coming across. Just takes it and prevents a try, but Chimambe and Tui were searching there for Leeds. What a try that would have been. And Saber, oh, big hit. Zach McSwinney, fresh on the field, lets everybody know exactly what he's about. Wearing 15. Cass kick from deep again. Leeds just jogging it back. No pressure shown by the Cass defence. Chimambe picks it up. Now Dylan Proud actually gets a bit of a run of the ball, Dill. Good to see. Obviously scored an absolute acrobatic effort against London 2 weeks ago. Definitely one to check out. Guess it'd be nice as well to have a range of something, let alone the Leeds pull up for a knock on here. We'll be playing with 15 against the Broncos. Full set of 17 to pick from for this one. All of which have been used so far. Particularly Dylan Proud continuing his run of appearing in every game so far this year. He's one of 9 players in the Leeds roster to do that. As Cass catch Leeds offside again, not for the first time today. They said no, it's the Leeds ball. Offside for not for the first time today, but it's kind of irrelevant when Leeds are getting the scrum down for that forward pass. So Leeds with McCormack on for Taylor. Finds the edge nicely, Harry Taylor. Definitely one of the players up and coming that we want to watch out for. There's a number in this team, but Harry Taylor has really put his stamp on playing and starting in the centres alongside Can Frater or whoever he's told to play against. It's Tui. That's what he does best, spotting a gap in behind. A man has to use his strength to wrestle out. Oh, it's been pulled up for a knock-on. There's a bit of afters as well between these two sides. It's a well-known kind of rivalry. Shane Tui, another to watch. He can shoot out of dummy half at any point. Like I said in the first half, one of those guys that's played a bit of can play a bit of halfback, play a bit of hooker. The fullback today, but definitely watch him in and around the play of the ball, because if he can find a gap, he will go through it. But back to Cass. Ball comes out again. Penalty this time. Carry. Although Jack Johnson, I think, would have quite liked it to be. Peeled off on that loose carry. But nevertheless, Cass with the opportunity now. So it doesn't get any easier for the Tigers of Wigan on the road next. London at home, and then St Helens on the road. There's a big group of fixtures there for Castleford. They want to pick up some points and climb themselves up the league standings if possible. But can they get some points here? Rooney comes out of the tackle, just swirls away from Harry Taylor. He's got that same side, and this time Taylor was not going to miss. It's now Windley. Shift the ball for Dean. Cass get the penalty again. Leeds getting pulled up again. The discipline slightly changing here. Cass did a lot of it in the first half, though. Leeds as now Rooney. Thought he might have got the opening try for the Tigers. But no, The referee says obstruction, and it was a clear one too. Leeds will be looking to keep that score at 0, so I don't think it was a wipe of the brow. So 15 minutes on the clock. There's Freighter across the line for Hartley. Just pushed back by 2. Done by some rugby royalty in the press area. Adrian Morley just walking past me there. Francis Cummins also to my right-hand side, working with our local BBC radio stations. As Leeds. McSwinney at dummy half. Onto McCormack. Gets it to Edmondson. Dummied, but better just pouching it and going at the line. There was no one there. Lifting the tackle, says the referee, and it'll be a set restart and a penalty as an extra bonus to the Rhinos. Obviously, player lifted above the horizontal, and the tackle means that you will be penalised. As it looks like Harry Edgley maybe came off second best. As he's checked out by the Castleford team. So obviously the men's first team taking on Salford after this one. The team, again, just at the bottom of your screen. Apart from that, no rugby action this weekend from a Rhinos side. But next week, well, we've got quite a bit going on. The next 2 weeks, really. Reserves and first team both taking to the field against Wigan on the road. The reserves clashing at Robin Park Arena and the first team at the DW on Friday. And then Sunday, although it isn't rugby, the Rob Borough Marathon takes place. The 14th. Get yourself down or place yourself along the route and support those runners. Raising so many good causes, particularly the MND Association and Leeds Hospital Charities. As Edmondson swirls out the tackle, loses the ball. Just at the cusp, thought he might want to reach out and top the ball down. It wasn't happening though. And Cass instead come away. It's just got a little bit scrappy in these last 5 or 10 minutes or so. I think Leeds know that they've got the game won. It's just allowed Cass to sneak their way back into the game and get a bit more possession than I think they had in that first half. As a kick back across, Tui jogging. That's it. Baddeley's chasing to pick it up just shy of the dead ball line and gets out, which I think is even more impressive there from the fullback. He's cramped up as well. Referee pausing the clock. I've got 12 minutes left around. This is a quick opportunity as well, as a few of you have done already. Hit the QR code on your left hand of the screen now for you to go through and buy one of the new look Leeds Rhinos Magic Weekend shirts inspired by the great Doddy Weir. And it's an absolute beauty too. Great work, like us, Elite Pro Sports guys. If you scan that up at the top left corner now, you'll be able to go through and buy one yourself. If you're coming down to the game, if you're still on your way, there's ones in the club shop too. So Tui back on his feet, helped by the medical team. I think he'll be fine. It was just a spot of cramp. I think this is probably the sort of location that Cass would have wanted Leeds to be in the opening stage of the half before they were scoring all their tries. Not really when you're 44 points down. And really hoping to. I was proud with an inspired carry. At the back of a Leo effort too. Taylor Stevenson back out on the park for Leeds as McCormack tries a duck and dart. Back to Stevenson, who forced high with the kick. Rooney's there. He takes it well. Trying to step around Chimambe, but he'll be lucky to get around Neil. He's quick, but is Rooney quicker? No. Great ankle tap from Taylor Stevenson. A bit of a late effort there, and that will earn a set restart. Taylor Stevenson, not quite sure what he was doing there. I know he's trying to maybe force the ball out, force the man out, but the tackle was complete. No real need to do that. It gives Cass a little bit more light to try and get over the try line. Saba, excuse me. And for Rooney, ball looks like it's coughed up and is from Walker. Will Leeds look to counter with Taylor, excuse me. Yes, they do. Big hit in the end. Puts the centre down, otherwise he could have been gone into next week. As Proud. On that edge, gives it to McCormack. Bit of daylight in front of him. Very similar to that London game. Finds a gap and through he goes. Doesn't take him a lot of inspiration. And he doesn't need an invitation either. He will go through and score if he can. There's Baddeley down just on the left of your screen for Cass. There's Freighter. Another dab kick. He's liking these over the top kind, and he must be seeing an opportunity. Whether one will come up free for him, who knows? That one certainly didn't. With Rooney picking up the scraps for Cass. Inside the last 10 here at Headingley. As a referee stops the clock, there's a Cass man remains down. Just allows the players to take in some fluids. He's back on his feet, the Tigers player, so he should be back underway shortly. He's given the all clear. It's Baddeley. So the referee should get us back underway. So Cass, can they get something just to get rid of that 0 that's next to their name at the minute? There's now Walker. Held on the last. Cass, I think, really just didn't know what the tackle count was there. Forces Leeds into an opportune moment to add to their score. So I don't think they need plenty of encouragement in, 55 metres from your opponent's try line. They've gone down the field with ease this game. There's Gilmore back out there for Leeds. Off the nice Aliyu move, just keeping that ball alive. Inside ball. Tui catches those tied Castleford defenders. And now Stevenson will get his try. He got close earlier in the half. It's well deserved. The nail truly in the coffin, you'd say. And Leeds closing on 50, 48 points to nil. Tui just taking on that real tired Castleford defence. There he goes. And a try time for Taylor Stevenson. Not a bad way to score your first Rhinos try too. Something that we know that Shane can do so well, of course. It's going to be Tui that's going to kick. You just need to give that man an inch of space and he will just fly through. It was a great combination. Back on the inside. It's easy pickings for Stevenson out of the Ultra Raiders club. Got a nice reception from the fans that have turned out already too. So here goes Tui with the right foot. Looks it high. It's going to be just short though. Score remains 48-0. It truly was one of the tries of the game, I'd say. And boys, have been a few of them. The referee calls time off. Tui that's struggling with cramp. He's just off to the right of your screen currently. He's just trying to stretch it out with the trainer. I think this would probably call for him to go off the field, and I believe that's him done. All Leeds might play the first few minutes of this from the restart with a man down. As Chimambe, well under that one, just a little juggle. But carries back with pace and pretty unstoppable from there. As Freighter for Gilmore. Does his job so well, Harrison. Picks it up, strong carry in. As Phillips tries to throw off the tackle of Dean, but nothing doing. Edgley in there as well. As McSwinney at dummy half. To Stevenson, back off of McCormack, shapes on the inside, goes to the outside. This is nice ball movement here from Leeds. If they can find Taylor and get a bit of room, he might be going in here as Taylor pokes his nose through. Now Proud. A little juggle from McSwinney on the last. Gets Leeds down within 5. And I think this will be game, set, and match for the young Rhinos with around 5 minutes left. If you've missed any of the tries, of course, there'll be full highlights with the commentary app on. Or you can even rewind and watch the action back yourself from this one. Also be match high team game 2. So if you are watching from abroad or elsewhere in the UK, make sure you subscribe, like, give us a follow on our channels as Leeds get the ball back here to not miss any content. As Freighter, enough room, they give him all the space, they give him all the time. And kind of Freighter says, thank you very much. I'll get my second of the game. And 4th of the season. The error from Cass, punished by Leeds, who score the 10th of the game. And that is the 50 up, 52 points to nil. Kick to come again, but I think Leeds will just want to take as much time off the clock as possible. And Frater will try and kick himself. Worth a note as well that post-match reaction from Tony Smith and a couple of the players will also be available after this. Just to hear his feedback and thoughts on a pretty resounding result, you could say. Frater no better than 2-8. Goes wide. Score remains 52-0. Oh, drop in the comments as well if you've got any standout players that you thought you've been pretty impressed by today. It's been all round one-sided to the Rhinos, but let us know who's impressed you the most. This next generation of Rhinos coming through the system. Let's Cass restart again. It's a familiar place for them to be. Kicking the ball down to Leeds and trying to defend. In Leeds' half, straight for the kickoff as Johnson. That's towards his own 30. Taking time off the clock here, Leeds. Working it nicely with Gilmore. Throws the offload. Aliyu, will he be done? Will he want a second? Potentially. There's McCormack. Inside for Taylor. Barrels it in nicely. There's McCormack. For Stevenson. That looks a little bit better, possibly. It can find the turf. No, it can't. Will Charlesworth takes it. And Castle have one final possession with the clock counting down. It's been spirited from the Tigers. They've just been no match for this Leeds attack, which has looked unstoppable at points. It should be pleasing for Tony Smith. I'll be getting his thoughts afterwards. But building into both the academy and the reserve seasons ahead. Positive to see the youngsters coming through in this academy side. As Baddeley on for Joseph. Penalty to Cass. So they'll keep momentum going. For how much longer? It's Hirsch. Met by that wall of blue, and it has been a wall today. That 0 next to the Tigers' name says it all. They've not been able to crack this defensive lead. Rooney had the best opportunity. The chance was pulled up for an obstruction, though. Can they get one here, though, Castleford? Well, I've heard a bit of commentators' curses. Rooney fumbles. Leeds pick up. Referee looking at his watch. We scrum to Leeds. Can't be many players left. Slow to pack the scrum, taking the time. It's been a pretty good curtain raiser if you've been a Rhinos fan. You're watching this one And then seeing what the Rhinos can do against Salford later on. Another resounding result, and that will be it here at Headingley Stadium. Resounding from the Rhinos, I've said it a few times. But it ends up 52 points to nil. A third win of the season for the young Rhinos, moving themselves up the table to 6 points, closing on the top spot. Tigers to do with some ill discipline. My name's been Dan Hawker. Thank you so much for tuning in and having your company. And we can't wait till next time. We'll see you then.